Hello everyone, thank you for joining. I am Jisary and I welcome you to my channel where I do all different kinds of creative content. Artblock. Every artist knows it. You sit down to draw or write something. You are generally motivated, but nothing comes out. Just a blank stare on the white of the paper until you eventually give up and likely get mad with yourself. Artblock has always been an issue of mine. No matter my life state, skill level or my age, I always had phases that I wasn't able to create anything, even if I wanted to. Or what I created was just bad and left me wanting. I often thought that I left it behind, but it eventually creeped back into my life. I'm afraid the sad truth is, Artblock is something that will never go away completely. As with most negative feelings, I came to the conclusion that you cannot get rid of it for good. But you can find ways to deal with it and leave it behind as quickly as possible. And I found ways that actually work for me. I mean, it doesn't always work perfectly, but generally speaking, I found success following these ways to cure Artblock. And in today's video, I want to share them with you. I hope they will help you in case you suffer from it and don't find a way out yourself. Or maybe you can add the one or other to the toolkit you already have. So then, let's begin to say bye-bye Artblock. The first way that helps me getting out of Artblock is having comfort motifs. These are things that I draw so much that I have them nearly ingrained in my muscle memory. And because of that, I just have an easy time drawing them. They always turn out at least okay. And these can be many things, from objects to characters to landscapes. Use whatever you like the most. For me, it has actually been Sailor Moon. I used to be a big Sailor Moon fan when I was younger. And it was one of the first things that I started drawing in anime style. I have drawn some of the Sailor Moon characters so much that I know them in and out, and no matter the state I am in, I can always draw a Sailor Moon. So especially when my problem is that I don't have any idea what to draw, I fall back on my trusty Sailor Moon. Well, or Sailor Venus, which was my favorite back then. Until Sailor Saturn came along. Another technique that goes hand in hand with creating comfort motifs is creating yourself some OCs. This stands for original characters. Having own characters and maybe even an own small world to come back to will also create comfort over time. It is very similar to having favorite motifs to draw, but I feel they are a bit more efficient in creating motivation and creativity because own characters usually inherit some aspects of yourself, which is likely to create a deeper connection and thus a bigger impact on the mind. OCs can be all over the place in terms of complexity. Since I like creating comics, I usually draw some of these characters a lot, so they naturally develop into comfort motifs for me. But for example, my channel avatar, I have drawn so much since reviving the channel that this also developed into something I just draw when I have nothing better or more creative at hand. Not only are OCs a bit more personal, but creating them can also be very fun and enlightening in the first place. Thinking about some backstory and how different OCs can interact with each other might even spark more creativity, and this can develop into a new way of getting out of Artblock. Which brings me into my next point. Create yourself a small project. People have ideas all the time, be it while watching a movie, reading something, or because you had an interesting dream. Ideas for projects are everywhere. Making a small project can also be very helpful to keep you on track to draw, compose, or even program regularly. You can create yourself a small list of action points that need doing and have always something to fall back on. Not sure what to draw? Well, you still need to design your main character. Not sure what to write? Well, you still need to set up the basic lore of your world or think about how your story will start. Not sure what to compose? Your main menu still needs some background music. Having a small project to fall back to will spark many artifacts you can work on without much upfront thinking, and having a structured approach to handling the project can even help you focus more. And now you might think, well, very funny. When I suffer from Artblock, I don't have ideas in the first place. This is my problem. I hear you, and for that, I have also something you can try out. Formulate yourself some keywords. Just random words that come to your mind that help you focus on a topic. They need to be descriptive though, otherwise it might not work. An example: fire and butterfly. 2 words I just came up with and that instantly spark some ideas. Start with drawing the butterfly. Add some fire to it. Is the butterfly made out of fire? Is it flying through fire? Is it maybe causing the fire? Automatically, your mind starts thinking about these words, trying to make sense of them, putting them into context. You can also combine this with your comfort motives. Sailor Moon and space, 2 keywords that created this piece of artwork. And it doesn't only work in art. To train my game design skills, for example, many years ago, I used keywords to design a small game. I cannot remember all keywords that I used because there were way more than 2, but 3 of them were fire, puzzle and console. So I designed a Nintendo Wii game where players used the nunchucks to direct fire on the screen in order to solve puzzles. If you have issues to come up with keywords yourself, you can use just a random word generator from the internet. Or, ask your mother or brother or maybe a friend. The words you use are not so important. It is about the process and how you start focusing and dissecting the keywords to create a piece of art from it. Which brings me to my last point for today. Don't compare. Comparison is the death of creativity. There are so many artists in the world, and the internet gives us easy access to them. It nearly feels natural to compare yourself to the one artist you have seen on TikTok or the designer you follow on Instagram. And they are so much better than you. Their colors, their ideas, their presentation. Why is your art not doing that? And oh my god, they are even so much younger than you. Why are you so bad? Comparing your art to a piece from another person from the internet is rarely a good idea. It can easily throw you into a downward spiral that kills all your motivation and creativity. I am the prime example of that, because comparing myself was a habit of mine that I had difficulties letting go. And I'm still struggling with not doing that. But the truth is, every person is different. Your experiences, lives, tastes, environment, nothing is ever the same. And this shapes you into someone different than who you compare yourself to, which automatically makes the comparison somewhat pointless. When a scientist conducts experiments to gather data to compare, they always ensure the basic setup and environment is completely the same. Because if they wouldn't do it, it would make it pointless to compare the data. It would create false conclusions. And it is very similar to art. Of course, you can objectively say that someone has a more efficient technique than you, or is working faster than you, sure. But it is very likely that this person has drawn for way longer than you. They likely have more experience and more practice. Or their style is just less complex than yours. Or they use completely different materials, or maybe have access to more advanced tech. You shouldn't compare your picture with 5 years of actual experience to someone with 10 plus years of experience. That is just not fair. What you should do instead is take inspirations. Listen to what more experienced people say they learned over the years. Observe aspects of art that you like and try to incorporate them into your art to develop your style. Try out drawing in other styles to expand your own art horizon. This also goes for when you make sound or video games. These things will all benefit you and your creative work. And enjoy your journey. Each line you draw, sound you compose, or letter you write is practice and will make you better. If you want to compare yourself to something, compare your art to your art from 1 year ago and see what progress you made. But comparing yourself to someone way more experienced will just frustrate you. And you never know how experienced the people are you compare yourself with. And maybe you might say, no, I will still do it because it motivates me to get better. Well, then this is great. If that works for you, go for it. But make sure it really does. Because it can quickly turn into the opposite. And the worst thing you can do is stopping to create art altogether. This is what happened to me. And as a result, I have a lot to catch up on, which feels intimidating, especially at the start of the journey. But if you remember that no one is the same and that your creative journey is yours and only yours, seeing all those great artists on the internet doesn't feel as daunting anymore. And in the spirit, I will go now. Take care and have fun on your art journeys. I'm excited for what we will create in the future together. Stay healthy and comfy. Until we meet again.